Here are 3 JRPGs that are on Steam that you can't find on modern consoles. That means that you can't find them on the PS4 or PS5, you can't find them on Switch, and you can't find them on the Xbox family of consoles. Now, I understand that there are a lot of videos like this out there, but I feel like they're throwing a lot at you with like 10 or 15 games at once. Let's keep it to a nice simple 3. My name's Jared, and let's go ahead and begin. Our first one today is Persona 4 Golden. Persona 4 was originally released on PS2, revamped as Golden on the Vita, and out of what seems like nowhere, Golden was released on Steam. I'm not going to spoil anything for you aside from what you already see on the screen, but this game is deep. The story, character progression, the writing, the combat, the environments, and every little mechanic is insanely compelling. The turn-based combat includes standard RPG things like elemental weaknesses, but every time you hit an enemy with its weakness, you knock it down and it gives you what's called a one more, which allows the character to take another turn. If you knock down all the enemies, you can do what's called an all-out attack, which is where all the party members gang up and deal massive damage to all the enemies. Magic and strong attacks are used by what is called a persona, or a being that exists within your soul. There is an entire section of this game though that is a social simulator. When you're not in the other world fighting monsters, you're typically spending time with other people, you're maybe studying, or you're working a part-time job. You advance relationships with friends, and that in turn helps you in combat when it comes to crafting your personas to use in battle, giving them stat bonuses and abilities they wouldn't otherwise have. So pretty much every system sort of lends itself to another. I could talk about this game for hours, but I don't want to make this video too long. Just check it out for yourself. It's $20 on Steam, but it's easily worth $50 or $60. With Persona 5 Strikers coming to Steam too, I really hope that we see more Persona on Steam in the future. Tales of Symphonia. This is a port of the PS3 version, but the game originally came out on GameCube a long while back and was exclusive to it in the US. The game may or may not be as deep as Persona, but it contains plenty of those JRPG twists and turns we get with these types of games. Again, I'm not spoiling anything here, but the story starts out where you have to help a cliched chosen one on a quest unlocking elemental seals around the world. But as the story unfolds, you find out your journey isn't exactly what it's supposed to be, and you end up, not doing that. What I like most about the game though, aside from the compelling story, was the combat. It's in real time, but it takes place on a separate screen. You move in a straight line like you did in previous Tales games, but this is 100 times more fluid than those, and it takes place in a 3D environment. You have your basic skills, attacks, magic, defensive dodges, and blocks for both physical and magic attacks, just like you would any other action RPG. You actually have a choice though in what magic the characters learn by using what are called X skills, and these X skills determine how your characters will grow. I will say one more thing about the combat: if you're just button mashing, it's not going to work. You still have to really be able to strategize. When you get enough people in the party, you can organize the party however you would like, and you can even choose who you want to control in battle. Now, I'm not sure why they chose to port this to Steam and not the other older ones like Abyss, Legendia, Graces, or Exilia, but you can find this one on Steam for about $20 and it's well worth it. On to the last one. I think Final Fantasy III is one of the most underrated Final Fantasies out there. FF3 really expanded a lot upon the job system that they had for Final Fantasy I and added a whole lot to it. They have way more classes and each one does different things aside from just having different attributes, stats, and equipment. Like the warrior using the advanced skill, which allows them to lower their defense in order to deal more damage than they normally would have. You can also equip things in separate hands, so if you want someone to be a complete powerhouse, equip them with 2 weapons. The amount of different party lineups is plentiful, so you can either choose how you'd like to play, or change classes depending on the dungeon or the situation. They even added auto-battling to this last update, so if you need to grind some levels, you can do so at twice the speed without any input. The thing to keep in mind is that MP works a little differently than regular RPGs. Each level has its own MPs. For example, if you have 3 level 1s and 1 level 3, I can cast Fire 3 times and Fire only once. I don't personally like doing it that way, but to each their own. The story is about 4 Warriors of Light, which is very similar to Final Fantasy I. Each character is a lot more in-depth than either Final Fantasy I or Final Fantasy II, which is a perfect touch because this is an updated version of the game. The only negative thing I feel strongly about is the fact that not a whole lot of dungeons actually really had many save points. so you have to be fully prepared before you enter each one. This is basically the DS version of the game that got ported to Steam, which is the first one that we actually got in America. You can pick it up on Steam for about $15.99 USD, but I will go ahead and say it is available on mobile as well, I think for like $13 or $14. And yes, I decided to go ahead and go with Final Fantasy III on this one because I feel like it is a little more underrated than the others. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. If you guys got something out of it, please give it a like so that YouTube knows that you got some sort of value out of it. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel if you would like to see some more videos like this in the future. We do game recommendations, we talk about gaming in general, or we might talk about a specific game. If you want to hang out with the community on stream, I do stream live on Twitch every Tuesday, Sunday, as well as one random day in between. You can also follow me on Twitter or join the Discord for updates and just to keep in touch with the community as well. That's it for me for today. Everybody have a wonderful day, evening, night, wherever and whenever you are, and as always, stay crazy.